Three people have been arrested in connection with the death of a Richmond woman. Her body was found nearly 60 miles away last weekend. Thanks for joining us. I'm Julie Bragg.
And I'm Leland Pender. Officials say she was abducted from Richmond and then found shot to death in York County. Crime Insider John Burkett has new information tonight from police about a possible motive. John.
York County investigators say they've been working around the clock since Saturday trying to piece together what led up to the Richmond woman's murder. Today, arrests were made, and the sheriff says it was all gang-related.
As he was running in this direction, he observed a body approximately 10 feet off the road into the woods.
Show your face! Show your face, please, with sugar on top!
Hey, what's up, y'all? Y'all know my slogan. I don't know it all, but I know what I've been through. Now, before we get into this video, please make sure you head on down to Instagram and follow us on our official Instagram page at Hookah Anonymous _. We're able to be a little more explicit, a little more uncensored, and share content freely without running the risk of having our channel terminated. So, once again, make sure you head on down to Instagram and follow us on our official Instagram page at Hookah Anonymous _. We're almost at 100,000 subscribers. So if you like this video, make sure you subscribe and hit that bell so you're notified every time we drop new content. Now let's get into what you guys came here to see. Now, this story is a quick video on Teosha Mitchell highlighting the gang lifestyle that she once participated in, becoming a high-ranking member in the process. But trouble will strike as Teosha wanted out of the Bloods gang in efforts to further herself as a person in life and leave the gang-banging life behind her. Now I can see if maybe she was killed by an enemy that may have came back to get her for something she did in the past, as we often see as a result of a gang member trying to turn their life around. However, this time it was at the hands of the same gang members she thought were friends that would tragically take her life because she no longer wanted parts in that lifestyle.
All of these people were associated with the Madstone Bloods out of Norfolk, Virginia, and it appears that that's probably what the motive is going to be, although that's what we are still investigating at this point to determine exactly what the motive was. That seems to be the issue right now.
Is it your belief the victim was also part of that gang?
She was affiliated with the gang, we know that.
York County detectives, along with RPD Forensics and Major Crimes, executed a search warrant at the victim's apartment in the 2300 block of Bethel Street in the Whitcomb Court community on Saturday afternoon.
And some of the evidence that we recovered from the victim's apartment was key.
Now this story can also teach us something we can all learn from, especially kids that are growing up and thinking that joining gangs are the way to go. Here we have it, a woman who joined the gang and even went through the street process of being what they call jumped out and still ended up losing her life, all because she no longer wanted to participate. Sometimes when you in too deep, there's no coming back, and that's exactly what this story teaches us. So if we could discourage some of the young ones from even starting to indulge in that lifestyle, then maybe we could save a life from having to go through what Teosha did when she no longer seen a life in gangbanging. So let's dive into what we know about Teosha Mitchell and what happened the fatal day she was killed by 4 individuals that she once considered family. But take this time to hit the thumbs up button to help us get into the algorithm so we can share the story of Teosha Mitchell and hopefully spread awareness to her story in hopes of stopping someone from having to suffer the same fate. 25-year-old Teosha Mitchell, who was shot to death in York County, was the highest ranking female member of Norfolk's Madstone Bloods, but court records show that she was getting out of the gang just hours before she passed away. A group text message between the victim and the suspects would show that they identify themselves as Vietnam Baby Guerrilla Gang of the Madstone Bloods, which is tied to Black Peace Stone Nation. She was high ranking, which means she had pull and could get others to do things for her. So what transpired that suddenly made her just realize that it's something she no longer wanted to do? As that remains a mystery, so does the motive behind her death at the hands of her own friends. It was early morning on May 6, 2023, when Teosha's boyfriend told Norfolk police that 3 women and 1 man assaulted Teosha the first time they went to her house to beat her out of the gang shortly after midnight. Neighbors would say that they heard loud arguing at 3 a.m. in the morning. That wasn't enough because after the first assault, they would make their way back to Teosha's apartment shortly after the first time, but this time, 2 men and 3 women would return and had a firearm in their possession this time as well. Teosha's boyfriend was present with her and described that he watched them leave with Teosha as he escaped by jumping out of a window to call police. During law enforcement's investigation at the Bethel Street apartment in Whitcomb Court, they would observe a blanket hanging from the window of a second-story apartment who they assumed was used by Teosha's boyfriend to get away. The boyfriend would describe that they took her away in a black Hyundai Sonata, and that would be the last time he saw his girlfriend alive. Many people are probably going to say how he let him take her, but I'm assuming he didn't have a firearm neither, so if they came with one, there wasn't much he could do besides become another body in this ordeal. Some people still feel that he should have at least did something to prevent them from taking her, but y'all let us know what y'all think about that in the comments.
A jogger Saturday makes a disturbing discovery, and deputies say after collecting evidence, more than a dozen shell casings, they believe Teosha Mitchell, a Richmond woman from Whitcomb Court, was murdered on the side of Old Williamsburg Road. Arrested and charged, alleged Bloods gang members, Jamaica Langley, Acacia Jackson, and Hezekiah Carney.
Reports say that the suspects took Teosha from her home in Richmond and drove a couple miles away to York County and took her by the woods off Williamsburg Road, where they would shoot her a total of 8 times, leaving her lifeless body on the side of the road. Officials said a jogger called 911 after spotting the body about 10 feet off the road into the woods along Old Williamsburg Road between Riverwalk Townhouses and the Colonial Parkway entrance around 6:30 a.m. that Saturday. When first responders arrived, Teosha would be pronounced dead on the scene and recovered 14 shell casings near where her body was found. She had no ID, but a portable fingerprint scanner would trace her back to her apartment in Richmond, where law enforcement quickly went back to. Upon investigation, detectives also tracked the black Hyundai to York County via surveillance footage and eyewitness testimony and was able to obtain footage of 2 of the 4 suspects, which happened to be Jones and Langley, entering a 7-Eleven in Newport News. Jones and Langley are just 2 out of the 4 suspects involved, as investigators will charge 24-year-old Hezekiah Janelle, 24-year-old Jamaica Danielle Langley, 18-year-old Acacia Jackson, and Jaquan Jones, and 27-year-old Denisha Goodman, who actually turned herself in, is connected to the murder as well, and all are being charged with second-degree murder and conspiracy to commit a felony.
We're also learning new details in the death of a Richmond mother who police kidnapped from her apartment and killed on the side of a York County road. Court documents reveal how a 5th suspect arrested in the case may be involved in the death of Teosha Mitchell. Investigators believe Denisha Goodman may have been the getaway driver. Court documents say Goodman is the registered owner of a vehicle authorities believe was used in the murder. After the car was seized, investigators found several cell phones, a black mask, and a bullet. The motive is believed to be gang-related.
Sheriff Ron Montgomery has said more charges could be filed, including for the owner of the vehicle. Court records will show that Jamaica Langley is already facing sentencing in Richmond Circuit Court after pleading guilty in February to charges connected to a May 2022 homicide in Richmond, Virginia. Teosha was a mother of 2 daughters that she left behind, including a mother that wished she knew the reason behind the killing of her daughter.
Don't know. And I'm beating the ground trying to find out. She said TT's gone, and I said, what do you mean she's gone? She just said that my daughter was gone.
The sheriff's office believes Mitchell was taken from...
I was just there, Easter. You know, we cooked, we laughed, we joked, we had an Easter egg hunt in the backyard for the kids and everything. I was just there. It's a shock because it was so senseless. And for her to be abducted from Richmond and taken to somewhere else and shot and left on the side of the road, you know, I can't wrap my head around it. So if anyone knows anything to ease our pain, you know, please just let us know.
One thing we can learn from this is that as senseless as this situation is, the streets don't care if you're trying to better yourself as a person or not. Teosha is a mother of 2 daughters and seemed as if she wanted to get out of the streets to be a better parent and at least see her children grow. Unfortunately, she didn't lose her life to the people she thought she had to watch out for, but instead, she lost her life due to the people she thought she didn't have to watch out for. It wasn't enough that they already beat her, and she accepted that was her fate involving herself in the gang and took the steps needed to get out of it. But instead, they took it a step further by taking her life for no reason at all. Let Teosha's story be a lesson for any of the youth coming up who think it's cool to join gangs, not understanding the road that it could lead to. Let's also not judge others just because they made not so good decisions, because despite Teosha being in the gang, neighbors said that although they didn't know her personally, Teosha will always wave and seem like a positive person. Teosha was young, and maybe the gang culture is what she got into when she was younger, but as she got older, she realized that it wasn't for her, leading her to call it quits. But it was friends that envied her decision making with no clear morals for doing what they did, and that has us where we are now, mourning the loss of Teosha Mitchell. Y'all jump in the comments and let me know what y'all think about this. But as for now, rest in peace to Teosha Mitchell, and we pray that our family receive justice. Now don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit that bell so you're notified every time we drop new content. And remember, as long as you keep on watching, I'ma keep on dropping. And I'm out.